Lorraine says, I'm so overwhelmed by 3-inch binder full of notes. Oh, photos, unfinished character sketches, partial chapters, etc. Should I just hide all that stuff away and start fresh with my original idea and build from that using your method? Oh, Lorraine, I feel for you. This is a common problem. You know, we put our hearts and souls into these stories, and we put all of our creativity into brainstorming them and building building these worlds. But then it can get really unwieldy when we spend so much time. And we've spent so many hours and creative juice building it out. And then when we try to organize it all, it's daunting, and we get attached to details that may or may not serve the story. I don't have any specific advice like this will definitely work, but I kind of like your idea of starting fresh with your original idea and maybe building it using the method. And here's why: because your brain is a lot more powerful than you think. The writer's brain has the ability to hold so much information and so many stories and so many details. People are always impressed that I can say well, you remember on page 100 of the book I wrote 10 years ago, this one thing happened, and they're like, how do you remember that? Because I'm a writer, because these characters live in my head. So if you start fresh and you put all of that away, I'm curious as what will rise to the surface as being important. So when you start from scratch with Save the Cat, and you start building it out as though you're building it from scratch, right? I'd be curious as to what actually comes to mind. I'm willing to bet that it's a lot of stuff that's in that binder, and it's a lot of photos and unfinished chapters. But the fact that it's coming to mind probably means that it's the most important. It was the most memorable. Maybe it was something that you really like. And that might help you clear through the clutter and use your brain as sort of a filter to figure out what is really that important or what is really coming to mind. Because when we have these binders full of notes, it's sometimes hard for us to filter through them and decide what to keep and what not to. But maybe you let your brain do that work, and maybe you start over and see what comes to mind. I'm willing to bet that the important stuff are going to rise to the surface. And then what's really interesting is once you finish this process, to go back to your notes and see, oh, wow, I had all these other ideas. They don't even seem that great anymore because they didn't serve the story all along. So if you enjoyed this video, we've got a lot more on writingmastery.com. Check the description for links to our blog, free writing tools, and more. Happy writing.